Good morning and welcome to this video series for the Leaders in Security with the International Security Journal. This morning I have the honour of interviewing Mr. Tawfeeq Alsadoon, Executive Director of Security at Red Sea Global in Saudi Arabia. So welcome, sir, and good morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
So perhaps you could commence with a short introduction about your role with Red Sea Global.
Thank you, John. As you mentioned, I'm the Executive Director of Security at the Red Sea Global. Our department is responsible for safeguarding the destinations as well as the tourists and visitors of the Red Sea and Amala destinations. And we are introducing the new concept of tourism security as part of the Saudi Vision 2030.
Look, thank you, and that's a really important point you've just raised around tourism security, because Saudi Arabia has this centuries of tourism, particularly around the pilgrimage, and you have this depth of knowledge and experience around tourism security. So how are we translating some of that past lessons learned into a more modern era?
Great question, thank you. As a matter of fact, most of the researchers consider that 1990s or 9/11 was the starting of the tourism security. In Saudi Arabia or in Arabian Peninsula, especially Central Arabia, tourism security or hospitality security was practiced for centuries. Since the start of Islam, there was tribes specialized in the safeguarding of pilgrimage convoys, protecting their convoys, facilitating their pilgrimage or Hajj, and then ensuring their safe return to their countries. So there is accumulated experience in that, and that involves and requires a lot of cultural understanding, cultural sensitivity training, as well as language skills, and these are the pillars of tourism security.
So when you talk about culture and language, how do you foresee your security operations dealing with these, not just the tourists understanding your culture and language, but your operations understanding their culture and language, and some of the challenges that come with these different cultural understandings?
Yes, it's a challenge, but yet we have diversified team, and they are working on certain groups to deal with different sectors of visitors. So we are considering cultural differences, we are considering cultural training that will include different visitors from different continents, different nations, and different religions to the destinations.
So when we now explore this training of your personnel in a little bit more detail around the cultural sensitivities and all of the other requirements, previously the Saudi government would have taken a lot of, responsibility for this, especially around the pilgrimage, and then in the more recent history this moves into the private sector with the creation of Red Sea Global and all the big giga projects. So how is the private sector embracing some of these requirements?
Right. Private sector does not work alone in this regard. As a matter of fact, certain government and semi-government bodies are supporting the private sector and to carry that role, and we have the Vision 2030 pillars and initiatives to support private sector in carrying that responsibility. We have different governmental bodies supporting us in that role.
So when we talk about the Red Sea Global as an entity, some of the viewers today mightn't understand how big an operation this is. Are you able to give any sort of understanding to people as to how big an operation this is going to be?
Red Sea, for example, the Red Sea zone is 28,000 square kilometers. That's almost the area of Belgium, for example. Okay, so in order to ensure the protection of that huge area, we formed a joint force with the government sector, okay, that will safeguard and provide the needed security. Again, it's a challenge. So our main objective in that is the provision of seamless and invisible security. At the end of the day, we are within Saudi Arabia. Thank God, it's one of the most secure and safe countries in the world. Yet we aim at providing a sterilized zone based on the layered approach to security, so the destinations will be based on that layered approach of security, reaching the concept of seamless and invisible security. Again, in order to achieve that, we rely on technology, artificial intelligence, geofencing, the artificial intelligence applications of security.
So when we're adopting new technology, we have our own challenges, and obviously we need to train and prepare our workforce for these innovations, not just today but for the future. Are you able to share a few details on how you're preparing your workforce for this application of new technology?
We have established partnerships with different companies and bodies. Some of them are under the umbrella of the PIF, the Public Investment Fund, and some other semi-government bodies. I would like to mention here the Saudi Data and Artificial Intelligence Authority, which is one of the pioneers in the region and the different applications of artificial intelligence and data. The Ministry of Interior has a long history of success in the area of technology utilization for to assist and the security sector.
So when we start off a new project and the size of Red Sea Global with 28,000 hectares, if that's right, it's
28,000 square kilometers. That's the Red Sea, in addition to 2,500 square kilometers for the Amala project.
Okay, so when we look at a project of this size, we can understand that there is a huge drive at the beginning to create these new systems and innovations. What are the challenges and some of the, I guess, the concepts about continuing the momentum, not just for our generation, but for the future generations? How do we think we're going to keep this rolling along?
Thank you for that question. That's actually one of the goals and one of the challenges at the same time of the Red Sea Global, and yet in the pipeline there are some other projects on the Red Sea, some other islands to be developed and under study. So to answer your question, John, we are, as I mentioned, establishing partnerships with different sectors, different government bodies to ensure the sustainable development.
So if we go back a few years in your career when you were in government and you know, we have some mutual friends around there, what interests you about joining a project like Red Sea Global? What was that like? Yes, I want to be a part of that. What drove your enthusiasm to join this project?
That's more of a personal question, but yes, everyone from working in the Red Sea Global or Amala are very much excited because these Vision 2030 projects are inspired by the vision of our Crown Prince Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and it's the future of the region, not only Saudi Arabia. So being or playing a role in that project is a dream, and that has become true reality. Yes, and we are glad to be part of it. Looking at me, it's like cherry on the cake in my career. Okay, I'm using my back experience in the military as well as my background as IT specialist. So the utilization of technology for security purposes is the area where I can add value.
It's obvious that you have this passion and excitement about your role in fulfilling the 2030 vision in Saudi Arabia. But what are the challenges and what are your thoughts around getting the next generation and the generation after that to be as excited and passionate about security for the kingdom?
Good question. Usually, John, when I talk to new joiners in the Red Sea Global, every individual, I usually deliver them the message that let's think of our fathers who back in the late 40s or early 50s joined the oil and gas industry, which was starting at that time, and over time they has become icons in the society. Those who started the oil and gas and where we now, believe me, the tourism sector is our next oil and gas in Saudi Arabia.
So, and you talk about tourism being the next component of sort of critical, economic sectors. How important is it that Saudi have the right layered, integrated security approach that's seamless and invisible? How important is this to the success of the Red Sea and tourism in general?
Tourism security has become a crucial factor for the security and for the reputation of any country. Okay, as we discussed earlier, tourism is interrelated to almost every sector within the economy. So it has its impact, and it's vice versa. So tourism security is not anymore a support service. It's part of the core business in the tourism.
So when we look at today's technology, if we look over the horizon, where do we think the next application of technology and AI is going to affect security? Are we going to be looking at more integration? Are we going to be looking at drones? Or where do you think in the horizon that you'll be looking for innovation?
Good question. I think, how could I say that the vision, the future vision of security is to embed the security,
Absolutely.
to embed the security responsibility to everyone in the hospitality team.
Okay. So when we look at some of the success factors around tourism security, what elements do you think are crucial?
In addition to the utilization of technology and artificial intelligence applications, I think the training is very important. The cultural awareness is very important. And most important for me is to embed the security function, the security responsibility to the whole hospitality team, not only certain team for the security. So, and at the same time, when it comes to hospitality or tourism, we cannot separate security from safety, because at the end of the day, a ruined vacation is a ruined vacation. Conducting the blame is a secondary.
Look, thank you, Mr. Tawfeeq, for your time today. It's been fascinating, and I'm sure that we'll be in more communication, and I'll be following your career, and I'll be following your team at Red Sea Global. So once again, thank you for your time today, and I wish you all the best.
Thanks a lot, pleasure.